Ready for a deep dive into something truly enriching?
I'm game.
Today we're exploring Metta and Karuna.
Okay.
Two qualities that Buddhism teaches are essential for, a life that's full of peace, happiness, the good stuff. And I'm always looking for those life hacks.
Yeah.
But with this one, it seems like we're going a little deeper than just your average tips and tricks.
Totally. It's a profound shift in how you look at things, like cultivating inner strengths instead of chasing those fleeting emotions.
Okay, so no magic wand.
Nope.
But a way to actually cultivate lasting change.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. And our source material here presents these practices as powerful antidotes to negativity. Mm-hmm. The anger, the hatred, just even apathy. I think we all kind of encounter those.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm really interested to dive in.
Yeah, me too. It's like building an immune system.
Oh, okay.
But for all that negativity. And these practices, though, they're available to everyone.
Right.
It doesn't matter your background or your beliefs.
I like that. So let's unpack this. Let's get into it.
Okay.
First up, we have Metta.
Okay.
Often translated as loving kindness. I don't know about you, but when I hear loving kindness, I think, puppies, rainbows. Is that what we're talking about?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, those are great, but Metta's way deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it more as this sense of goodwill.
Okay.
This genuine desire for the happiness, well-being of all beings.
All beings.
Yeah.
Okay. So not just the puppies and rainbows.
Right.
So we're talking all beings.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with myself.
Yes.
Our source material really emphasizes that. And honestly, that already feels kind of challenging.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like we're so used to putting it out there like other people.
Right.
How often are we turning that generosity inward?
Oh, not often enough.
Right.
I would say.
And this is where Metta challenges us. It's like to confront all that self-criticism.
Yeah.
And to really embrace ourselves, flaws and all.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see how that's a practice in itself.
Right.
And speaking of kind of challenging norms, this well-wishing, this metta, the source material also points out that it's not even dependent on liking someone.
Right.
It's it's bigger than that.
It is. This is where it totally clashes with how we normally think about love,
Yeah, totally.
Our culture teaches us to love the deserving ones.
Right.
The ones who meet our criteria.
Right.
Metta, it doesn't care about that.
Right.
It's about recognizing that everyone is worthy. And it doesn't matter what they do or how they act.
That's pretty radical when you think about it.
It is.
So, okay, if Metta is this deep well of goodwill, where does Karuna fit in?
Yeah.
Our source material describes it as compassion in action.
Right, exactly. So you've got Metta is the wish for happiness.
Okay.
Karuna is, how do I say this? It's what you do when there isn't happiness.
Right.
So picture this. You see someone who's struggling.
Yeah.
Instead of looking away.
Right.
You feel this urge to help. You want to take that pain away.
Okay.
That's Karuna.
Why that urge?
And it's what I find so fascinating is that it's not random.
Right.
Our source materials suggest that it comes from a place of recognizing that we're all connected.
Yes.
That we all experience pain and loss and disappointment. We're all human.
Totally. We're hardwired for it, for connection, empathy. There's tons of research that shows that literally our brains resonate with others' emotions.
Wow.
So, when we see someone suffering, a part of us feels it too.
Wow.
So it's not just be nice.
Right. Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
It's primal almost.
Yes, in our nature.
That's a powerful realization.
Yeah. Okay, so they're different.
Yeah.
Metta, Karuna, but they feel connected.
Yes. They're two sides to the same coin.
Okay.
One's the aspiration. That wellspring of loving kindness, like you said.
Right.
And then Karuna is that wellspring.
Yes.
But it's overflowing. It's going outward.
I like that.
And they work together, right? To create this, balance, this compassionate approach to, to life.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about, avoiding conflict.
Right.
Or just being nice. It's way more active. You're trying to build a world with less suffering.
Right. And that starts, like you said, it starts within. That's a good distinction. Okay, so it's not just about wishing things were better. It's about doing something.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get on board with that. But where do we even start?
Well, our source, it talks about this practice.
Okay.
for cultivating metta. It's a meditation. It's called Metta Bhavana.
Okay.
And before you say it, you don't have to be like a meditation master.
Okay, first of all, I resemble that remark.
Uh-huh.
No, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
People hear meditation and they freak out a little.
Right. It can sound intimidating. But Metta Bhavana, it's really simple.
Okay.
You're basically just guiding yourself
Yeah.
through these feelings of loving kindness.
Okay.
And it starts, like we talked about, with you,
Right.
yourself.
Right. Which, as we've established, can be a little challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can be surprisingly hard to just like be nice to yourself.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right.
Like, we are our own worst critics.
Totally.
So how does this work? Do you sit there and force yourself to feel loving?
No. It's not about forcing it. It's more about like guiding your attention.
Okay.
So, yeah, you start with yourself.
Okay.
And then you slowly make that circle bigger. So you might go to a loved one next.
Okay.
Someone who, like, already brings up those warm, fuzzy feelings.
Right. Start with someone easy.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then it gets interesting.
Okay.
Then you go to someone neutral.
Okay. Someone neutral.
Yeah, like practice that non-judgment.
Okay.
Maybe it's the cashier at the grocery store or somebody you pass on the street.
Right.
You don't even have to know them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like practicing on them a little?
Exactly.
Like low stakes?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Low risk metta.
Uh-huh.
But then, okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay. What's next?
A difficult person.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that does sound kind of tough.
Right. And this is where it's like, whoa, this could change things.
Okay.
It's not about, like, saying what they did was okay.
Right.
It's just about seeing that everyone's dealing with stuff, even the people who hurt us.
Right.
So it's more like, can you let go of some of that anger, that resentment?
Wow.
Can you try to understand a little better?
That's a lot to, like, process.
Right.
But I can see how if you could do that,
Yeah.
it would be huge. Okay, so then you go from a difficult person
Yeah.
to all beings.
Yes.
Is there even a word for how big that is?
Boundless.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down those walls we make between us
Right.
and seeing that deep down. We're all in this together.
That's a powerful image. Okay, so it starts personally,
Mhm.
this Metta Bhavana, but it can go like way beyond that.
Oh yeah, totally. And like, even if meditation's not your thing,
Right.
you can still, take those ideas
Right.
and use them every day. Just like trying to be a little kinder,
Yeah.
a little more understanding, more accepting.
Right. So it's like it's accessible.
Yeah.
It's not as like
Yeah,
intimidating as I thought.
exactly.
Okay. What about karuna? How do we actually like
Right.
bring that into our lives?
Well, this is where it gets really practical.
Okay.
Our source material, it really stresses that it's not about like grand gestures.
Okay.
You don't have to become a saint or anything.
Right.
It's the small things. It's about making little changes
Yeah.
consistently.
Small changes, big impact.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so what are some things we can do to like bring more karuna into our lives?
Okay. Well, we've already kind of touched on it.
Yep.
But really listening,
Yeah.
like truly hearing what the other person is saying.
Oh man.
Right.
Guilty as charged. I think we all zone out sometimes.
Right.
But I get it. Like if you can be more present,
Yes.
be more attentive, that's huge for people.
It shows them you care. That what they're saying matters.
Right. It's like it makes them feel seen,
Yes.
which I think is something that we all want.
Totally.
Okay, what else? Recognizing suffering.
Yes.
Our source material mentions that.
Yeah.
Even like the subtle stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
What does that even mean?
It's about noticing the little things. Maybe it's their posture, like they're kind of slumped over,
Oh, okay.
or their voice, like they sound a little strained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe they're just like quieter than usual.
Yeah.
It's about paying attention to all those little things that might mean
Yeah.
that someone's not okay.
That's a good point. Because I think, we wait for the big signs sometimes.
Right.
Like wave the giant red flag. But sometimes it is the little things.
Yes.
And just offering a kind word
Yes.
or a gesture.
And that goes right into the next thing our source talks about.
Okay. What's that?
Small acts of kindness.
Oh, I like that.
Just like a smile,
Yeah.
holding the door, giving someone a genuine compliment.
Right.
These things might seem small,
Yeah.
but they can make a huge difference.
It's like those little moments, they matter.
Yes.
Even on a busy day when you don't have time for, like the big sweeping gestures.
Exactly. And speaking of things that might take a little effort.
Okay, what's that?
Our source material also talks about forgiveness.
Oh, forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
That's the one that everyone's like,
oh yeah, forgiveness. That's easy. But then when you actually try to do it.
It's so hard. Forgiving other people.
Yeah.
And even more, I think, forgiving ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is hard.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most compassionate things we can do.
It really is. Like holding on to all that anger, resentment, it keeps us stuck, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
And like, it's not about saying what happened was okay. It's more about freeing yourself from that anger, that weight you've been carrying.
It's so heavy to carry all that around.
Right.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So it's not about letting people off the hook, forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's about like trying to move on for ourselves.
Yes, exactly. It's for you, not for them. And, it takes time.
Right.
Some things, they hurt bad.
Yeah.
And it takes time to heal from that. There's no like magic formula.
Right. It's a process, not just a one and done, but even just trying, like making that effort to forgive. That's huge in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's compassion right there. It's karuna. Just that willingness to try.
Yeah.
To let go.
Okay. And forgiveness, it's not just about other people.
Oh, no.
Right. It's about ourselves, too.
100%.
We're so hard on ourselves. I think it's harder almost to forgive ourselves sometimes than it is to extend that to someone else.
It's true.
It's so easy to get caught up in the what ifs and should haves. But we're human, right? We all make mistakes. We're all just like figuring it out as we go.
Exactly. And we deserve that compassion.
Yeah.
Just as much as anyone else does.
That's where the metta comes back in, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's about being kind to ourselves too, like being okay with not being perfect.
Yes. Embracing all of it, the mess and everything.
Right. It's all part of the journey. So we talked about metta and we talked about karuna, and they're both like, they're powerful on their own.
Totally.
But when you put them together.
Oh man, watch out.
It's like this shift in energy, wouldn't you say?
100%. It changes how you interact with the world.
Right. Because it's not about like forcing yourself to be a certain way. It's about cultivating these qualities within, and then like it just naturally kind of radiates outward.
Yes. Like you become this metta and karuna machine, just like spreading the love.
Right. That's a good visual. Okay, so to bring it back, cultivating metta, cultivating karuna, it's about more than just being like a nice person.
Oh, way more.
It's about tapping into something deeper, something that I think, honestly, a lot of us, we already have.
Yeah.
Inside. We just have to kind of learn how to access it.
Yes. It's there. We just have to nurture it, let it grow.
Exactly. And then let it out into the world, because these practices, they can transform not just how we experience things, but how we interact with everyone around us too.
100%. And that's huge.
Yeah.
Because we all want a better world, right? And this is how we get there.
It starts with us. Okay, so to our listeners, think about this. How can you bring a little more metta, a little more karuna into your life? It doesn't have to be this big, grand thing. Just a small act of kindness for yourself, for someone else.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by the difference it makes.
You might just inspire somebody else to do the same thing. It's like this chain reaction of good vibes.
Right, a ripple effect.
Yes.
I like that. Okay, so that's metta, that's karuna, and that's a wrap on another deep dive.
Until next time.